Hi, Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast. This time we're talking about how to use QuickBooks Online for a personal shopper. Now, this is part of a series I've begun on 65 small business ideas in 7 categories with 3 questions to help you decide. Now, if you missed the last post, check the write-up for a link to the last post. It's sort of the cornerstone of all this. It's the post where I wrote up that actual subject of 65 small businesses in 7 categories with 3 questions to help you decide. So you can get the sort of background and context. But what I plan to do is a whole series of videos. I don't know that I'm going to cover all 65, but I'm going to cover a lot of the ones, certainly the ones that appeal to me, especially ones that appeal to me as great ways for people who have, let's say, been hurt by COVID financially to start or restart a business, working remotely, working from home, doing the kinds of things that we can do in an environment like this. And I wanted to start with this idea of the personal shopper because I think it is the perfect fit for the current environment. You need the money. People need the help. I couldn't think of a better reason for 2 people to get together and transact business. And before people jump all over me, yes, of course, if you're in a position where you can afford to voluntarily help people get what they need, people who can't easily get to the supermarket or who are at high risk, then by all means, please do. Go on to sites like nextdoor.com and offer your help. There are people who are young and healthy and at much lower risk. Of course, still should wear a mask, but you can go to Ralph's and pick up some groceries for some people. Absolutely. But there's also people who are hurt financially by this who can really use the money, and in exchange for the help that other people need, it might be a perfect fit. Plus, there's lots of other ways this can go way beyond just running to the grocery store for people. And in fact, if you check the write-up, and if you don't have an account on my website, just go to any page on my website. You'll see opt-in forms on just about every page that say get updates. All you do is give me your name and email address, and if you don't already have an account on my site, you'll get an autoresponder with a temporary password. The content is free. I only ask you to sign up on my website to get access to the content, and it really has to do with the fact that my site is designed to deliver courses, and even though the site does have a blog feature, I like the layout of a course much better. This is the only way I can bring you to the content and give it to you in a way that's organized the way a course is organized to make it easy for you to find and browse content. Truth be told, I'm shooting myself in the foot by doing this because I don't get any search engine value out of this because it's behind a free subscription wall, if you will. Nonetheless, I'm confident in the presence that I have and everything else that I don't mind doing that so that I can deliver you a better experience as the end user of my content. So that's all it takes. Free account on my site. You'll have access to the write-ups. Oftentimes there's downloads and all kinds of other things that I offer you to make sure that you're getting a lot of value in exchange for your name and email. And you don't have to opt in for my weekly emails, although of course I would love for you to do that. So back to the personal shopper. The business model is simple. One thing to consider is whether you're going to use your own means of payment to lay out the money for the things that you're getting on these people's behalf or get their means of payment. Now, here's why I suggest using your own means of payment is a byproduct, a side benefit of this could be the rewards that you can get. For example, get a Capital One cashback 1.5% rewards card. And you can rack up a lot of cash rewards on your Capital One card, which you can get in the form of a check or, just in a credit towards your bill. But you can it's basically free money that you can get. And all you have to do is set up a system where you'll get reimbursed by your clients. And of course, I'm going to show you that system in a minute in QuickBooks Online. And you can even charge them like a 5% convenience fee because if they're going to pay you via credit card, which QuickBooks Online, by the way, makes it really easy to do that using QuickBooks Payments, so you can build in a 5% convenience fee when you're getting reimbursed for the stuff, so that that'll more than cover the credit card processing fees. And it's just that. It's a little convenience fee that you add on top of whatever amount you're being reimbursed, on top of whatever amount you've agreed on for your client to pay you for your services. And in the write-up, I discussed the difference between charging by the hour versus charging a flat monthly fee. If you're going on the lower end of things, and let's say really you are aiming at people who need your help to go get groceries during COVID, then you might consider charging something like $150 a month. And what that might include is one weekly, shopping excursion. And that'll break down to, the way I figure it, about $25 an hour, because it'll take you anywhere between 1 and 3 hours to do the shopping from what I've seen. So just things to think about. I'm always a bigger fan of charging a flat monthly fee. That way your client knows what they're getting and they know exactly what it's costing them. And there's no paper shock. There's no arguing about why did it take so long. There are long lines at the supermarket. It's all those things just go out the window. There's no more discussion. There's no room. There's no place for discussion about that because it doesn't matter, because you've agreed to a flat monthly fee. The other option is charging by the hour. If you do that, you'll want probably something like T-Sheets, which is built into QuickBooks Online. So when you're setting up your QuickBooks Online account, just make sure you opt in to have T-Sheets sort of turned on. And also in the write-up, I've given you a link. It's also in the description of this video. If you need to set up a new company with QuickBooks Online, you can do it through me. I can get you 50% off the first year on your QuickBooks Online subscription. So let's take a look and see what the accounting looks like on this. So here I am in one of my sample QuickBooks Online companies files. Now, one of the things a lot of people sort of ask about right at the beginning is, oh, the chart of accounts. We got to set up the chart of accounts. And I always tell people, relax. You don't have to set up the chart of accounts. When you set up a new QuickBooks Online company, you'll go through some questions. You'll answer. One of the questions is going to be about what industry you're working in. And really that question is designed to drive QuickBooks to set up a basic list of accounts that might be sort of the stuff you frequently would need for a company in the industry that you've chosen. My suggestion is I always choose other or none because I prefer to build the chart of accounts myself. The only thing you'll need right at the beginning for sure is a bank account and the other basic standard accounts. And then you'll create the things you need as you go. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the critical things, especially if you've chosen to do the sort of reimbursement method where you lay the money out to get the rewards. I'm going to focus on that here and show you what that all looks like. So if we go down to accounting and we look at the chart of accounts, you'll see this is a sample company that's accumulated some things from other videos that I've done. So this is already going to be more than what you'll need if you're starting a brand new business as a personal shopper. But you'll need a bank account, right? So we've got our Wells Fargo 5678. You'll want to, if you don't already have the account open, get that open, get a starting balance in there. I'm assuming you won't be starting it with $250,000, given the context that I've provided around this. But whatever it is, you'll start it, you'll set up that opening deposit, and when you do record that opening deposit, you're going to show that as a capital contribution. Okay, so I'll show you what this deposit looks like. I'm using the example here where the company that I've created is an S Corp. So we show it as, my capital. If I was a 25% shareholder, again, that comes from a sample video I've done, another video that I've done, where this goes into my contribution. So you set up an equity account called capital, and you set up a sub-account called shareholder contributions. And you can create accounts right from within this drop-down. You can scroll all the way to the top here and add new, or you can just type in whatever you want, and when QuickBooks sees that it's not an account that's already there, it will prompt you to add or create it. And when you do, if it's a sub-account, you'll also get the option to check off the checkbox to show that it's a sub-account so that you can set it up however you want. Okay, so that's the opening deposit that you're going to set up when you set up your bank account. Outside of that, like I said, you'll have basically what you need with the standard chart of accounts that you start off with. Okay, so now let's set up our first customer. We're going to go into the sales area and we're going to go into customers. And I'll choose new customer. We'll call it Joe Customer. Very, very original, I know. Okay, so Joe Customer is our first customer as a personal shopper. By the way, this is handy. You can add notes here, especially if you want to include reminders about like how you're billing the customer. You can put something like 5% convenience fee on reimbursements, just as your reminder so that when you go to invoice the customer, you don't forget to include that, right? So this is very handy. This is frequently how I use this specifically is for sort of billing notes, for that particular customer. As you might have noticed, I just did the minimal setup. That's all you really need. Of course, you'll want their email address here, so you can email them the invoice. And then I mentioned you can set up QuickBooks payments. Again, get with me if you want to set up QuickBooks payments for any of your customers. I can get you better pricing than what you'll get if you go right into your settings and set up QuickBooks payments directly. So you'll save some money by doing it through me. So you can set up QuickBooks payments. You'll want their email address in here, right? Joe@customerx.com. Okay, whatever his email is, so you can email the invoices to him. Now, let's get things set up so that you can, first of all, invoice him for the fee. Let's say you agree with me and you want to do the monthly fee. So we'll create a new invoice. And let's create a product or service for this called Personal Shopper. Simple, we'll add that in. Okay, it's a service. And we don't want to use a generic account like this. We'll call it Personal Shopping Fees, right? This is what you charge to do the personal shopping for people, right? And for income, we can just call it service or fee income in the detail type there, and save and close. And you definitely want to do this because the thing about this idea, and one of the other reasons I like it so much, is that this can go a lot of different ways. This can really evolve into being a personal assistant or a virtual assistant. In the write-up, I mentioned that from the research I've done, and I've given you links that you can, see the research that I did and do your own, of course. The amount of money you can make as a personal shopper can range anywhere from, I've seen places where it talks about getting like $13 an hour, all the way up to getting like $300,000 a year for this. Now, of course, at the $300,000 level, you're not running to the supermarket for people who can't go there because of COVID. You're probably working for an executive of companies or executives of companies, and frankly, running errands for them and getting what they need, from maybe some household items all the way to they need you to help them buy and arrange for delivery for major appliances. In the accounting world, we have a whole area that they call business management, which sounds pretty generic, but that term refers actually specifically to, where CPA firms that specialize in this, they work for, the stars, people that you might be familiar with from movies that you watch or TV shows or the news or whoever, where they have these business management firms that, of course, they do their accounting for them, but also as part of the service they provide is they'll have, a staff level accountant at one of these firms is going to be the one running out and getting their fridge delivered to their home in Malibu, right? So that's kind of the range we're talking about. And what I like about that in this context is just the possibilities, where you might start out because you're having financial difficulty because of COVID. You might end up with an incredible career, making a really good income, doing something you frankly enjoy. Maybe helping people pick things out or helping people save money, whatever it is. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you'll really enjoy doing that. And a lot of this can be done remotely, just sitting at home at your computer, going online, researching, pricing, what have you. So I love this model. I love this model for a lot of reasons, actually. And it's why I chose it first, because I just think, like I said, that there's so many possibilities here. So the reason I brought that up here is you want to create this account specifically for personal shopping, because you might end up with other items for like virtual assistant and just other sort of offshoot services. So you'll want to be able to describe specifically how much income you're bringing in from each of these different services, which is why you want to think about this for a minute before you just go setting it up. Yes, it's all easy to update, change, morph it however you want to evolve, but it's always good to think ahead right off the bat and think, where do I want to go with this ultimately, and what can I do to sort of plan and prepare for that, right? So let's say you're going with me on the $150 a month thing, and this is for monthly supermarket, well, it's weekly, right? Monthly fee for weekly supermarket pickups, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, the other thing we'll want to do, well, first of all, this is assigned, obviously, to this customer. This is what we're charging Joe Customer for this service. This we can get rid of. I don't need that. There's some custom fields in here that carried over from, again, other videos that I've done. So that's pretty much it. This will get us the income, and what we can do is we can make this recurring, okay? And so that gives us the recurring dialogue here. So we can say it's scheduled. We can create it, like let's say 5 days in advance. Okay, it's going to be monthly on the 1st of every month. Starting with, I'm doing this as of July 28th. So let's say we're starting, let's say we're going to bill them now for the month of August. So we'll start this on September 1st, right? We just got the client today. So that's kind of how that often goes. We'll bill them right away today for the first month. And then every month thereafter, 5 days before the 1st, the invoice will get created so that it goes and gets sent out. Notice we have the email. We're going to automatically send the email so that Joe gets the invoice every month like clockwork, 5 days before the 1st, so that hopefully he'll have it paid by the 1st. Okay, and then we're going to hit Save Template. And it's warning me that I'm missing a class field. That's okay. Okay, and we didn't actually create the invoice. Notice there's no invoice here. So we just created the template. So I'm going to go up here now, and under lists, we'll go to recurring transactions. And here's my Joe customer invoice. I'm going to choose this drop down here, and I'm going to choose use. Okay, and we're gonna date this August 1st. Okay, and this will actually create the invoice, and I can do save and send. It warns me about the classes again, and now it's looking to send Joe customer the invoice. Now, this is where you would see, if you're using QuickBooks Payments like I do, this is what's going to go out to him. The only difference is this is a sample company, so I don't have QuickBooks Payments set up here. So what you would see here if you use QuickBooks Payments is an option for them to click and go make their payment online. And down here, I can choose how they can pay me, whether or not they can use a credit card, or I might want to only let them pay via bank transfer because these cost me fees. This one does not, right? Or ACH is it's like 50 cents a transaction or something like that. Very inexpensive. So those are your options there. And now I'm going to hit save and close because I don't actually want to send an email to that email address. And it's asking if I want to update the recurring template. I don't need to. There's nothing really that I've changed here, so I'm just going to say, well, I can just say update for all in any case, just to be sure. And then back here to recurring, just quickly glance whenever you do something like that. Make sure that the next date is still correct. I just did August's invoice, and so the next date is September 1, so that's perfect. Okay, so that's how you invoice for the fees. Now let's talk about tracking the reimbursable expenses. So I mentioned before getting a rewards card, like a Capital One rewards. Let me see if I have Capital One here. I don't. So let's go. We're going to go. You can go set up your account with Capital One. I like Capital One. I do a lot of banking, and I have a cashback rewards card with them, and I love it because, like I said earlier, it's free money. So we're going to go create a new account from the chart of accounts. It's a credit card. The detail type. There's no other choice when your account type is a credit card, and we're going to call this Capital One Rewards. And usually I put like the last 4 digits of the account number in the account title, especially if you end up having more than one credit card with the same institution. It's helpful when you do that so you can distinguish which one is which. So I have my Capital One rewards card. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy something for Joe. Joe says, hey, you know what? I need an appliance from Best Buy. Can you go pick it up for me? I'll say sure. So the payee here in the expense is going to be Best Buy. We'll add them in. Okay, but we're not paying it out of our Wells Fargo account. We're going to put it on our Capital One rewards card so we can get the rewards. Remember, this is not us invoicing him. This is us paying for the appliance that he wants us to get. Now, down here for the category, which is the account that it goes to, what we'll want to do is set up something called reimbursable expenses. Okay, and now for the description, we'll call it kitchen appliance. Okay, and then the customer, this is critical. First of all, let's say it was $1,500. Okay, and for the customer, we have to put Joe customer. Okay, it was Joe customer, right? We'll double check that afterwards. And that's it. So, and this, by the way, here, this is the wrong account. This is not what I wanted to use. I happen to have an expense account there. So I'll just name it differently so I can set up a new account. Reimburse, let's just call it personal shopping reimbursable expenses, something like that. Now, it's kind of long, but I want to mainly show you can name it whatever you want. I just want to show you how to set this up. It's going to be an other current asset. It's basically like we're loaning money to the person in the form of purchasing their appliance on their behalf, and they're going to reimburse us for it, right? And so for the detail type, we can just, there's a secondary version of the same thing called other current assets, and here's the name. So personal shopping reimbursable expenses, save and close. I'm going to show you where this goes on your financials because I want you to see how exactly you can track this to make sure that you've gotten reimbursed for everything you're supposed to, right? So this is going to be today, July 28th, and save and close, and that's fine. Okay, now let's go over to my customers. Actually, if I go to my recent transactions, I can click in the search here and just confirm. I'm pretty sure it's right, but I just want to check that that was the same customer that I used there. That's going to be very important. You have to make sure you're tracking all the income, any incoming and outgoing funds through the same customer. It's what we call simple job costing. So now let's look at a report. And where that reimbursed expense account that we just created is going to land is on the balance sheet. And here it is, personal shopping reimbursable expenses. In a way, I like that nice long name because it makes it stand out. So if I click in here, I can see that, there it is. There's my expense. Now keep in mind, hopefully you're going to have all kinds of clients, which means you're going to really need to be able to keep track of this by client. So if I group this now by customer, now you can see this is under Joe Customer because I had associated this with him when I made the purchase. And this is how we're going to be able to track it. Now I'm going to invoice him for the reimbursement to get my money back, right? And you might just arrange it with your clients that you're going to bill them, like within a week of whenever you've laid money out on their behalf, right? So I'm just going to go right up here to the plus sign to create a new invoice. All right, this is going to go to Joe Customer. Okay, it remembers everything. And here we need a product or service now as follows. We're going to call it personal shopping. Remember, this is what we use to charge him the fees that he's paying us for the service. We're going to create a different item called personal shopping reimbursements. We'll set that up as a service item. And that's going to, even though this says income account here, we can link it to a balance sheet account. So if I start typing person, I can see my other current assets account. And you'll see what this is going to do. And of course, these are all non-taxable here. All right, save and close. Description is going to be, kitchen appliance from Best Buy. And what's great about QuickBooks Online is I'll put in the amount, $1,500, that I'm getting reimbursed for. And on my other screen, I have prepared a PDF of a receipt from Best Buy, which I'll just click and drag right here down. Oops, I guess I have to scroll down a little to get there. And I'll click and drag right here where it says attachments. Okay, it takes a second to upload. Notice how I've named it. Best Buy 2020-07-28, $1,500, all right there in the name. I really don't even have to open the PDF to understand what this is. And you definitely want to check this off here where it says attached to email. This means that when I send the invoice to Joe, he's going to get this included as an attachment, which is great service for the customer so they can see, they can see that you actually paid for it, and they can confirm that you're charging them to get reimbursed for the exact amount that you actually paid. And then optionally, as I mentioned, you can add in a 5% convenience fee, right? So this way you're not eating the fees, because if you're getting reimbursed $1,500 but then paying credit card processing fees, you're losing money on the reimbursements. So let's call this convenience fee. Add that in. Again, this is going to be a service, okay? And then we're going to create an income account called convenience fees. Add that in. It's income. All right, it's other service or fee income. Save and close. Okay, that's all we really need here. Save and close. And here you can actually do the math right in here. This is not taxable. I can just say, oops, I hate when it does that. Let's type 1,500 times with an asterisk 0.05. The other thing I could do actually is put the 1,500 in the quantity, the 0.05 in the rate. Anyway, this is what we want. This is another way to do it. And this way on the invoice, you can clearly see where the 1,500 is coming from and that we're charging a 5% convenience fee and how we arrive then at the extra $75, right? All right, click away. My invoice is totaled. I've got his email. We're going to send it. We're going to let him pay by credit card or bank transfer now because I'm charging the convenience fee. This will more than cover what I'm paying, right? If any credit card processing company or system is charging you more than 5%, run away. Go use PayPal or Stripe. That's already going to be a lot less than 5% for sure. Anyway, that is how we do it. Now watch what happens when I hit save and close on this. And we go back to that account here on the balance sheet. So here it is. We've got the personal shopping reimbursed expenses. You can see that it zeroes out coming in from the invoice. This is grouped by account. Let's go back to grouping it by customer and run that. And you can see that within Joe Customer, it includes both. This doesn't seem to make much difference now, but when you have 5 or 10 customers with outstanding reimbursables, this is going to make a huge difference because you'll see Joe Customers and you'll see all the other customers, each in their own grouped section, so that you can see exactly who owes you what, if anything. And for that matter, just confirm that you've gotten reimbursed for everything that you need to get reimbursed for. I think that's about it. That covers it. That's almost 30 minutes of video, absolutely for fun and for free. So by all means, take advantage of my free resources. Of course, I can also be hired to help you. So if you need any help, would like any help, visit my website at new.nerdenterprises.com. Check out my CFO consulting services. That is where I can provide you live support, almost like having your own CFO, helping you get your accounting system set up, your workflows, anything you need accounting-wise and workflow and productivity-wise, I can absolutely help you with. I can even help you with your project management. So give me a call or send me an email or fill out the contact form on my website. As always, I hope you learned something here, had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.